I'm at $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me?
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about these online payment apps like Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, etc., who will now report just how much money you have received in a year to the federales. Now, there is a threshold for this as far as a dollar amount. If you make below this amount, then they're not going to report to the IRS. If you make above this amount, then they will. $600. Now, I don't just mean from one transaction. I'm talking about total. From January 1st to New Year's Eve, all of that time, if you have made that much money, then they're going to report to the feds. That's what's going on. Now, before I continue, I just want to say that I'm not a financial professional. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not an attorney. I'm a regular normie on the internet. I know nothing. This is only for entertainment purposes. If you need financial advice, if you need legal advice, please contact a lawyer or a CPA or somebody. This is not financial advice or legal advice, but I'll move on. So here's a question that you may ask yourself. Why are they doing this? What's going on? Well, they want to know how much money you have, how much money you make. And there's a difference between what you have and what you make. I'll talk about that in a moment, but they want to know. They already have access to your bank. They already got that already. Like if you try to not pay your taxes or your student loans, they can garnish your tax return and your bank account. Okay, I've heard horror stories like, one day they wake up, they got money in the bank, and then the evening, the money's gone, and they're calling the bank like what happened. It's like, hey, man, that was the federal government came and take that because you owe some taxes or you owe student loans or whatever the case may be. Oh, yeah. But as far as your PayPal, Zelle and whatnot, I'm not quite sure that power is there. Maybe it is, but I'm not quite sure. But they already know what you make from your bank account and things of that nature. Now they have access to your online little pockets of money, your PayPal, Zelle, etc. Because some guys have that as a bank account. I would never do that as far as having a PayPal for my bank account because it's no FDIC insurance. It can get hacked. You can get drained, and I don't want to have that kind of stress on my back. I'd rather put it into a credit union or stocks, but that's a different story. And for this moment, I digress. But that's the whole point. So when you file taxes on TurboTax or whatever the case may be, the IRS will cross-reference all your information. So right around tax time, if you have more than that threshold, you get a form called 1099-K from PayPal, Zelle, even Patreon. But that's a different story. And for now, again, I digress. You'll get that form. So with the IRS, they'll have the W-2 you get from your job. They'll have all these forms. So let's say you have money from your regular W-2 job. You have money from a little side hustle on PayPal, Patreon, Zelle, Cash App. They're going to have all those forms. So if you file your taxes and you just neglect to mention some of these places you have money, they're going to be like, oh, you're not giving us a full report of your money. You're not telling us where all the money's going and how much money you have. You're not really reporting your true financial statement. So what we're going to do right now is charge you more or maybe even bring you up on an audit. Now, they probably won't get that much from a lot of these guys, maybe like $1,000 tops, $500 to the average person. That's a lot of money. $500. I feel like I saw a site that said like 40% of Americans don't have that much money in the bank account for an emergency. So if you needed $500 right now, a lot of Americans simply do not have it. They're literally living check to check. Okay. They can make six figures and live like that, which is crazy, but that's a different story. So it's not really about trying to, squeeze blood from a stone. Like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they're already taxed to the max. They pay billions in taxes. When I see things like some of these politicos talking about, oh, they don't pay money, the rich, they evade taxes, please. They ain't evading no taxes. If they try to evade taxes, they're going to go to the penitentiary. Okay, we've seen some of these rich guys get locked up for tax evasion. We saw, like at one point, she could have been America's mom, Martha Stewart. She went to the penitentiary for quote unquote insider trading. People that have a lot of money to try to evade taxes and do things improperly, they get locked up. They have whole teams of lawyers and accountants around them to ensure their IRS compliance. Because the laws keep changing and it's really complicated when you make a lot of money. You got capital gains tax. They're trying to do this whole thing called unrealized capital gains tax, meaning, let's say you have a particular thing that you bought for X price, and then as you have owned it, it rose to Y price and value. They want to try to tax the rise in the price and value, although it's unrealized, meaning you didn't even sell it for anything. It's just sitting there. It's ridiculous. They want to tax these rich guys and girls to infinity and beyond. But you, the normie, they can't do that to you. So it's like death by 1,000 cuts. There may not be that many billionaires in the world, but it's a lot of guys that make 75,000, 50,000, 30,000. If you can get a bunch of these guys, like let's say 20 million of them for another $100, then that's a nice little bit of money, right? $200, maybe a big fish, $1,000. So they want to try to attack regular people, the middle class especially, to try and drain them dry. The same way they're trying to drain the rich guys dry because there's more of you. That's the whole point. They're trying to generate revenue off your back and the rich guys' back, but definitely yours now. It's what's happening right now with all this inflation. They're trying to drain the middle class. If you got money, you're going to be fine. You can afford to pay for whatever the inflation price is. But if you don't have money, like if you're at the very bottom, like the indigent, the people that are just here taking up space and air, that are able-bodied, oh, they got all kind of government programs for them. You got stimulus checks, welfare, EBT, WIC, all that, Section 8. They can live off the state, off of the rich guys' tax dollars and off of your tax dollars. As a middle class person, you are going to be kind of further toward the poor class because they want to drain you to try and keep this whole facade up, to try and keep the underlings, the crust of society afloat, the drug addicts and the criminals and whatnot. They want to keep them afloat and comfy so they don't devolve into civil unrest more than what they already done. So that's the whole thing. They want to drain you all your money. That's all. Because what other reason are you trying to have PayPal report to the feds? For what? And it's weird because when you have a PayPal account, the money in there could be anything. And it might not all be taxable. Prime example, if your grandma gives you $100 for your birthday, that's not taxable income, okay? If your auntie gave you $500 to go get a couch for her and then bring it to her nephew's house, then that's not taxable because you did not make money on that. It's not a business transaction. It was not even for you. It wasn't even a gift. It was for somebody else. You didn't even make any money on it. So that's not a thing. So rather than you self-reporting that money, now they want to try to make it to where you have to try to explain to the feds what is a gift and what is just your regular income. So it's going to force guys to get different accounts trying to separate it. You're going to have to. That's what I would do. I would have a different account where all my business money goes and then one where my personal stuff goes to make it easy so the feds don't even try to trip. It's like all of this right here, that's straight personal. And that over there is straight business. That's what's going on. All right. I don't want to have any kind of confusion, no kind of nothing happening. And it's weird because they also want to have a 1099K for Patreon, which is like they want to do all kinds of things with that. They want to put sales tax on Patreon. It's all kind of complicated stuff. They said, okay, on Patreon, you get donations, but it's also you get perks for those donations. So those perks count as services. So you're offering services. You are an independent contractor. You're not selling the product. You're not selling necessarily a real service, but you are selling the service. If your Patreon says you get a free video call every month with this particular tier, that's a sale. Now you got to pay sales tax and income tax on that. Now I got to add one piece here. I've been self-employed for the past 15 years. I know how this whole game goes. I never once thought about trying to hide any money on PayPal. Any money I made from my business, I report. Anything. You know, I got sponsors and they may pay through PayPal. I'm going to report all of that as my income. All of it. I don't play no games because I already know what time it is. But now you may have some guys try to play that game, try to hide money on PayPal and stuff like that, little side hustles, selling things here and there. Not nothing illegal, but just not trying to report it to the feds. If you make anything beyond 600, go ahead and report that. If you get a 1099K from PayPal in the mail, oh yeah, they already know how much money you made. So ain't no point in trying to hide. And that's the whole point. As I was saying, they're going to cross-reference. They're going to have all your paperwork right there at the IRS, right there with the feds. If you got a regular job, they got W-2 on deck. They got the 1099Ks on deck. They got all these different things. Okay, they have everything they need. So when you file, they're going to see what they already pretty much done filed on you and make sure it matches. And if you got any other additional money, they want to see that too. Anything beyond your Cash App, Zelle, or whatever. If you're getting cash in your hand, they want that too. I saw where they said you got to report stolen items. Like literally, it's on the IRS website. Report any stolen items that you may have received, that you've taken from someone. You understand what I'm saying? It's a crazy, ridiculous thing. But ultimately, as I close, it's all about trying to drain you as a middle-class person and trying to drain your money to where you have $0 left to try and prop up this underclass of drug addicts and criminals. That's what it's about. If you got money, you ain't even really worried about it. You straight. If you make $500,000 or more a year, you don't even really care. You don't care. But the problem is that that's like 5% of the country. Right around that, maybe even less than that. That's not very many of us that make that kind of money, not even as a household income, let alone as one person. So the majority of us are trying to fight against what's happening right now with the federales. I'm not sure what the solution is to try to stop it, to try and fight it. But I know one thing, this was done under Joe Biden, under his thing from 2021. It's his bill, the whatever it is, American Rescue Plan, whatever they want to call that, it's his doing. So if you don't want more of this, let's stop voting for more of this. You guys that are watching me, you guys don't do it. But if you are a Biden voter, if you did vote for this, well, congratulations. You got what you wanted. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the federales knowing how much money you have received on these apps? And I didn't say how much money you've made, your income or anything like that, because if you're getting $100 from your grandma or $20 from your Meemaw, whatever it is, that's not taxable income. Now you got to try to divide and figure out what's going on, and you got to kind of change structure, all because they want to try to take as much from you as they can. If they could tax that $20 from your grandma and the birthday card, they would. They would. But you guys pretty much know where I'm at. I think this is government overreach. You're doing way too much. I'm already reporting what I make, okay? Let's not try to take every little dollar, every little, stop trying to check behind me and do all kind of stuff. And you know what? I'm going to say one last thing. I think they're going to automate a lot of this. It's going to be bots doing this stuff. Why else? You're going to have electronic 1099Ks, your W-2s, all of that. It's going to be electronic. You have bots reading it. And when you file electronically, which a lot of us do, they're going to compare and contrast, and they're going to process it real quick. Lower than labor costs. We're talking about automation in America. Fewer and fewer jobs. And they know it's going to happen, so they got to try to get all your money to try and pay for people that are not going to have jobs. In my humble opinion. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.